In this demonstration, we'll be taking the 16 outputs of the surround sequencer to 16 different audio channels that are routed to a group. To set up the surround sequencer, create an audio track and then select your input source being the surround sequencer. To route the output of the plugin, then select each corresponding stereo option and make each channel mono using the utilities 1 left, 2 right, 3 left, 4 right, for example. If you want to route the audio to an external output, select Audio to, External Out, and then choose your output. This large plugin has multiple sections and we will talk through each one by one. By default, the plugin reads its own steps and velocity. By selecting MIDI read instead of play, it will take values from an external source from the plugin, for example MIDI keyboards or written sequences. If you are using an external source, the sample output is the same as the first step on the sequencer. The main control section to begin with has a rate and glide function, which can be set to sync or frequency. The glide function is time-based between the two values set. The random function plays random steps inside the sequencer. To revert to a 16 step, just select Follow. There is a 3-function play mode for the sequencer, which plays forwards, backwards, then up and down as a 32 step. The sync mode plays the sequencer in time with the project to any selected subdivision. The next section is a breakdown of our samples. One tab holds 1 to 4 and the other 5 to 8. You can mute, solo and clear each sample. Each has its own individual volume knob. The next part is our 16-step sequencer. This step value can be altered by dragging the top bar. To build on the sequencer, you must select the on-off on each step. Below this, you can assign its output with the knob. The following section is a random generator for steps, speakers, configuration, with the option to assign them to 1 to 16, 16 to 1, then minus or plus 1 from the start. In addition to this, there is the option to randomize the velocity value of each sample within the sequencer. In the following section, the velocity sliders can be used as automation of external parameters. For example, I am automating Send D by selecting Track, Sequencer Group, followed by Mixer and then Send D, with the added glide functions for smoothing the automation. Each sample has the function and can be used independently. To delete the target of the automation, click List. There are 2 ways to save presets in this plugin: by pressing Shift and click to store, and Shift and Option Alt to delete. Alternatively, you can select the preset number with the knob and click Store. You can clear all presets with one click here. This knob can select each preset. Its main use is with MIDI controllers. The Random Preset knob selects the maximum range of presets triggered by the above Random Preset button. A total of 24 presets can be stored within the plugin. In the tab 5 to 8, you will find the next bank of samples and its functions. The Random tab holds information relative to each sample. We have a speaker trigger, which can be set to the value of none, plus minus 1, and random at different time rates. The steps and velocity can be set to different time rates too, with each section having its own speaker range knob to limit or increase the amount of output information. If we want to use the plugin in stereo mode, We set the speaker ranges to 1 for each sample, then click speaker trigger on or off, and it will reset the sequencer to have only one output. Each sample can have its own individual settings and value ranges, which leads to endless possibilities. The Random All button in this tab randomly generates the sequencer's steps and outputs for each sample. The Random Triggering All button allows you to trigger each sample's triggers with just one click. The Automation tab has two modes, one grid-based and the other slider-based. You set this the same as the velocity mapping like earlier. One added function is drawing curves by pressing Alt and dragging the line. The slider section has a glide function for smoothing. Each automation has a clear button. Thank you for listening for this demonstration of the Surround Sequencer.